Hey everybody, I have a video here for you today. I made a video for a while, but if you made videos, one or two a week for about 7 years, there are times you need to step away, and I tried making one about 5 days ago, and I could just tell when I started listening to my introduction that the enthusiasm really wasn't there, so that tells me right there that just take a little break and start again some other time when you're a little more into it. Your viewers deserve at least that. So today, I think I have a pretty interesting one. But first of all, let me just say this. I want to thank Gary over there at Martian Relelation Radio for having me on a show. We talked for almost 2.5 hours on Saturday night, and I enjoyed the talk. Gary's a very fun guy to talk to, and I will leave the link for this below. But we went over quite a few topics and answered some viewer questions and had a pretty good time. But I always enjoy listening to other researchers being interviewed. It really shows what they know. Now today's video comes from a couple questions that correspond to an article that I had saved for maybe a couple months now, but we are going to fly down today to Clarke County, Virginia, and the nearest town here is Bluemont, but some stone circles were found up here, and a pretty respected author and archaeologist were called in here. But this is the area it is by. Between Leesburg and Winchester are a couple of the larger towns here, but this is about 50 miles northwest of Washington, D.C. and Arlington, Virginia. But let's just go down. Not much to see on Google Earth here, but it's pretty remarkable what was found here. And let's just go to a couple websites. Now this is the Roanoke Times. It says, couple discovers stone circles on property. Site could be one of the oldest man-made structures still standing in North America. But it says, concentric stone circles near rocks weighing more than a ton, apparently aligned to mark solar events, are believed to be a part of a Paleo-Indian site in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Clarke County that an expert has dated to about 10,000 BC. The complex around Spout Run has 15 above-ground stone features. Though still under study, it could be one of the oldest man-made structures in North America still in existence, and twice as old as England's Stonehenge. Jack Hranicky was called in, and he is an expert on Paleo-Indian sites, and he has authored many books and was a teacher of archaeology in the local area here. He says, to date of this site, Hranicky excavated an area of 5 square feet, carefully numbering every rock and sending it aside to be replaced later. He wanted to create as little disturbance as possible in hopes that future technology will have better methods of studying the site. His digging exposed 3 artifacts, a thin blade of quartzite, a small piece of jasper, and another piece of rock that had been shaped to be used as a small scraper. But he said the jasper ties this to the Thunderbird Archaeological District, an intensely excavated Paleo-Indian site on the Shenandoah River in Warren County. He suggests that after quarrying jasper for tools at Thunderbird, Native Americans walked down the Shenandoah River and held some sort of cultural ceremonies at the Spout Run Site. Rock engravings in the shape of footprints could be intended to mark where to stand to observe an equinox. To get some idea of the site's age, a section of jasper from the Spout Run site was sent to James Feathers, who runs the Luminescence dating laboratory at the University of Washington in Seattle. According to Feathers, the piece of jasper found along the Spout Run was heated, perhaps in a campfire, and it's possible to determine by the proportion of the luminescence when that occurred. The date when the piece of jasper was burned on the Blue Ridge, Chris White said, is about 10,470 BC. Almost 12,500 years ago. Now, information is kind of scarce on this site, but I did find this. This comes from humanresidence.org, and I've used their website before. It says, rock circles on a spit of mountain land along Spout Run may be the oldest above-ground Paleo-Indian site in North America, according to Alexandria archaeologist Jack Hranicky. He will deliver an address about this site, which he dates to 10,000 BC to the Society for American Archaeology next April in Memphis, Tennessee. This site could put Clarke County on the paleo map, Hranicky said, and this article was written in 2011, so this is about 8 years old. He said, He saw the pattern in the rocks as soon as he arrived at the site, noting 3 concentric circles at the western edge, which he believes was a ceremonial area, and that could be associated with a few different activities. Here, rocks on the edge of the circles align with the features on the Blue Ridge Mountains to the east. And I have talked about that a lot on my channel, where they use the geological features and then they would make alignments to the special days of the year. The spring equinox, the summer solstice, the winter solstice. I've shown that in many videos. And I just finished America Before, and certainly Graham Hancock talks about how they align Serpent Mound to the summer solstice, and that is a very cool opening chapter in his book there. He says from a center rock over a boundary rock, a line would intersect the feature called Bear's Den Rocks on the mountain. Standing on that rock's center, looking towards Bear's Den, a viewer can see the sunrise on the day of the summer solstice, Hranicky said. At a third points to a saddle on the mountain where the sun makes its appearance at the winter solstice around December 21st or December 22nd. These are true solar positions, he said. Hranicky, 69, a registered professional archaeologist who taught anthropology at Northern Virginia Community College and St. John's High School College, has been working in the field of archaeology for 40 years, and he seems to know a lot about archaeoastronomy, which is pretty refreshing. He said, I had to wait 70 years to find a site like this. Now, I did find a series of short videos here on René Locklear White's channel. This is Jack Hranicky here at the site, and he does a little talking about each aspect of it in about 9 different videos here. But I've read where some people are calling this a very ancient spiritual place, but it also says water is a symbol of life, and it says Spout Run, which ends in a sizable waterfall at the Shenandoah River, would be both eye-catching and significant, while things emerge from underground, such as the springs that feed Spout Run, are a sign of rebirth. It says all these characteristics could make the spot of the concentric circles significant to Native people, White said. Hranicky is applying to have the white stone circles added to Virginia's list of archaeological sites. It will be recorded, said state archaeologist Mike Barber. Jack has recorded several of these types, he said. The real problem is proving what these things are. We haven't arrived at that yet. And have we arrived at that with any of the stone circles from the world? Do we know exactly what they were? Well, there's certainly a lot of theories. It says, Barber said that he has received a preliminary report on the site from Hranicky and is trying to schedule a time to visit it. Is the Clarke County site an ancient solar observatory for early Americans? Barber is cautious. I'm not to the point where I can say that it is one of them, but certainly here we have things that hint at it. But if the sun is doing things in alignment with this stone circle to geological features on important days, well, we have to take into strong consideration that this is exactly what this thing is. It's an ancient solar observatory. But Spout Run is the name of this site. It's near Winchester, Leesburg, just northwest of Washington, D.C. That's pretty remarkable if that research is accurate. But stone circles here, looks like they're very old. Hope you thought that was cool, and you all have a very nice day.